Hi, I'm Paul. And this video is going to show you how we created our DIY lift for our DIY vacuum table. Alright, so here we go. These are the parts that we used to create the lift for our DIY vacuum table. We needed a bunch of rope, very inexpensive at Home Depot, and we needed some pulleys. You want ones that can pivot a little bit, as well as some fixed pulleys. Now we did kind of screw up a little, or not screw up a little, I don't know. We cheaped out on the rope and it did stretch a lot, although once it stretched we were able to adjust the rope and then it still worked for what we needed. Want to make sure you're very well secured up into the ceiling, whatever you're lifting from. So we're right into the trusses of this building with these 2x4s, and now we're mounting the 4 pulleys which can pivot. So we just have a bracket with a hook on it mounted into the 2x4, and Andy had a laser pointer on the surface of the table which showed him exactly where we wanted to have all of our pulleys. Right in the center is where the 4 fixed pulleys are mounted, and this just redirects the rope from each corner towards the winch, which will be mounted on the wall eventually. So here's the fun of basically just stringing all the rope, tying the knots, hooking it up to all the corners. So it was a bit of a chore because we wanted to have all the lengths of the rope exactly the same, so it lifted the table evenly. They all then went up to this center point, which we all 4 would mount to, and you can see the 4 hooks that are in there. And then we put a center through bolt, which had an eye bolt, I guess. It was a through eye bolt, which our winch finally was able to mount to, and that's where it would pull the entire table up. So as you can see, this table really is not too expensive to fabricate the lift for it. Just some simple parts, actually a little bit of this stuff we just had lying around, and we're not necessarily building pianos here, so there wasn't near as much measuring as there could be, and you know, a hook shoots off to the angle side a little bit. It's all good though. It all worked out in the end. So now Andy's just hooking up all the ropes, and like we said, we wanted to have even tension on all ropes, so that was probably the most tedious part of it, was getting the ropes all the same length, hoping that we lift the table up evenly as we pull it up. We decided to use a very inexpensive winch from Amazon, and you want to make sure you get a 120 volt winch. You don't want to be buying a 12 volt winch meant for your car or ATV. So we fabricated up a metal bracket, lag bolted it up to the wall, and you can see the 4 ropes go to the single point, go to the 4 pulleys in the center, which then go to the 4 pulleys in the corner, and then finally down to the table, which we just used some clips there basically that the rope was tied to, that we can easily take it on and off the table. When we were using the table, we do remove the through hooks that are on the table, so we just take those on and off each time. The winch itself has a up-down button, so very easy to operate and lift the table up and down. Now it does drop onto our vacuum pipes, so we got to get it close to the position, and then we have to do a little bit of tweaking. So this was just a quick video on how we created this lift for our DIY vacuum table using some rope, some cheap hardware, and a winch off of Amazon. It works out great. We've now used it a whole bunch, up and down, up and down, up and down, a bunch of times. Gotta say, works great. Reason being, we don't use the vacuum table too often. Most of the time on our CNC, we're surfacing big, huge slabs of wood that we don't need the vacuum table for, so we needed to get it out of our way. It's also pretty heavy, so lifting it on and off and then having a space to store it, kind of a headache. Big shout out to Google Images, because basically what we Googled was ceiling 4-point DIY lift. And there's a few different diagrams of how to run your cables, and that's all we did. We followed the diagram, and here we are. Thanks for watching, hope you learned something. Build a lift.